Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your Saturday is going fabulous. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we're going to create a mini slimline card using one of the brand new items from the C&CT stamp Rainbows release. It just went live last Thursday, and so I thought we'd make a mini slimline card today. My card is actually part of a blog hop, and I'll talk more about that in just a little bit. But the product I'm using is a slimline stencil. It's called Slimline Wave, and it fits perfectly a slimline size stencil, and also mini slimline. So I thought we'd make a mini slimline card. I'm bringing in my pixie spray. This stuff is genius. I don't know who invented this, but boy, it is fabulous. It leaves a little tackiness to your stencils to where you don't have to add tape. It kind of lightly tacks it down to where it's repositionable and removable, which is really nice. So we're going to grab some cardstock. For my mini slimline cards, I prefer a mini slimline that measures 3 1/4 inches by 6 1/4 inches. It fits perfectly in a 6 3/4 inch envelope, and I created a panel that was 1/4 inch smaller than that. So this measures 3 by 6. I'm going to tack down my stencil, and after we have that adhered, we're going to create a background with some oxide inks. I have Tattered Rose here, and we'll grab my blending tool, and I changed my mind. Instead of Tattered Rose, I thought it was more of a dusty colored. I'm going to bring in Spun Sugar. I think it's more bright. We're going to use Aged Mahogany for our very last color, and I thought Tattered Rose would just make this background a little bit too antique-ish almost. But I'm taking my Spun Sugar and my blending tool, going over the top third of my panel, and I love the soft pink in the trio of pinks. Now after we have this done, I'm going to bring in Worn Lipstick. This is going to be our mid-tone color. We're going to grab our blending tool for this and go over the middle section of our panel. And I love this color combination. Now, if you wanted a very bright background panel, next color, I would suggest maybe a Picked Raspberry, but I kind of want to tone it down a little bit. So I'm going to use Aged Mahogany. It's like a rich, well, mahogany. And I think it's going to go perfect. It's going to give it a rosy kind of a feel to this. I'm going to grab my blending tool, and you know what? I don't actually have a blending tool for every one of my oxide inks, and I don't use Aged Mahogany very often, so I have to find my little ink blending pad and a blank blending tool so we can do some finishing up here. I'm going to take my Aged Mahogany, go over the bottom portion, and again we'll use our Worn Lipstick blending tool and just blend them both together so it's kind of a seamless transition. But we have those waves, and then you have the trio of color. I know this would be great for water scenes, but I think it's also great just for an intense background. I just think it's so pretty. So that's our background. Now I am ink blending on my white cardstock, which ideally you would want to use your Bristol Smooth, but I like I wanted it to be very white, and the cardstock that I have is very white, and so Bristol Smooth is a little bit more of an ivory color. So when I added water, it kind of didn't react as much as it would if it was Bristol Smooth. But there it is. I think this is stunning. I love the way this turned out, and you could use a rainbow of colors, guys. I think it would be just as fabulous. Okay, that's our background. Now we're going to need some elements for the front of our card. I'm taking another panel, and we're going to use the C&CT stamp mini slimline rectangle die set. I'm taking the middle 2 dies, and we're going to line these up and create a frame with white cardstock. I'm flipping it around only because I left the little notches on these dies because I knew I was going to create some frames with it. And if I leave the notches, I can actually line it up to make a perfect frame. That's why I flipped it around. Okay, frame's all good to go. We'll set these aside, and then now we need an image for our stamp set. in a sentiment. So I went through my stamps and found the Stronger Together 6x8 stamp set. Love this stamp set. I haven't used it as much as I should, but I think it's a perfect opportunity for today's card. I loved I love all the images in here, but for a mini slimline, I thought 2 of the images would work out perfect. Well, one of them actually, I just couldn't decide which one I wanted to use. So I have this one. It's the lines with the leaves on it, and then there's also a floral that's kind of has that wavy look to it that's intertwined. It's really pretty. We're going to stamp this on some white cardstock, and I'm going to grab my sentiment while I'm at it. I chose 2 sentiments in this stamp set. One says I miss you, the other one says hello friend. We're going to stamp that as well. These sentiments are nice because they're blocked off for you. You just trim around them. We're going to go ahead and grab Versamark VersaFine Onyx Black ink up our images and stamp them. We'll stamp them, and it stamps beautifully. We might want to ink it up one more time. Those sentiments are pretty solid. But since VersaFine does stay wet a little bit, we can heat emboss it. So I'm going to grab my clear embossing powder, and we're going to go ahead and add a little shine. Sometimes I like to do this too when I use my oxide inks, because oxide inks kind of have that chalky look, and just balancing it with a shiny sentiment or a shiny image just makes it a little more balanced. So my clear embossing powder is melted, and next, now I thought about a color for these, green or even like an orangey color, but then I looked at it and thought, you know what, I didn't want to take away from my background, so we're gonna do a black and white almost coloring of images. So I took some gray markers. These are all C markers, C Copics. This is C1. We're going to color in all of our leaves and flowers with C1, and then we're going to do a little shading with some darker C's. This is C6. We're just doing a flicking motion at the bottom corner of the leaves and the bottom of our floral, creating a black and white flower. I really love the way this, I don't think I've ever did this, and I really love the way this turns out. I just think it looks so pretty. My card today, I'm actually going to make a miss you card, but I think it would make a really good sympathy card too. Now I did a little more blending with C4, and it was gray, and I wanted to bring in a little bit of black because my sentiments are just that stark black. So I decided to bring in my black Copic, and I'm just going over the bottom areas of my images, kind of intensifying the black and white look. And I eventually blended it all back together with my C1 marker, and I just love the way this turns out. Okay, there is, this stamp set is actually sold separate. There's a bundle that has the coordinating dies, but there are coordinating dies that go with it. I'll list them below, but I don't have them, but I do have my fussy cutting scissors, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to fussy cut out our images here and our sentiments while we're at it. Now we're going to pick which one we want for our card today. I know I want to kind of overlap that top leaf in my frame, and I love the way this looks. I think it looks very pretty, and I think we're going to go with this one, but we're going to try the flower in the frame too, just to see how this one's going to look. And I think that, oh, you know what, that looks just as pretty. You know what, let's go ahead and ink blend one more background, and that we'll make 2 cards today. So we'll make an orange background for this one, and I have dried marigold here. We're going to go over, this is going to be our lightest color. We're going to go over the top third with our dried marigold. Second color, we're going to bring in ripe persimmon for our middle area. And this stencil has some pretty fine areas on it, and I wasn't sure if the blending brush will go work with it, and it works beautifully. I'm actually picked up some brand new of the Gina K blending brushes. I love the little caddy that it came in, and they blend beautifully. Last color, going dark, kind of dark. We're going to use Rusty Hinge for our bottom color. Just kind of make that bottom a little bit dramatic. And I love this little orange color combination. blending them all together. I'm going to add some water just to oxidize it just a little bit, and then we'll tap off the excess with our towel here and clean up our stencil a little too. That rusty hinge was a little juicy, but I'm loving the way this looks too. So again, you could do a rainbow of colors with this, guys. I think it's fabulous. Okay, I went ahead and added foam adhesive behind my frames here. I cut out another frame, put our images behind it. Now the flower and the leaves, two of the leaves on our orange panel there, I actually doubled up on some foam squares, so it's one level higher than the frame. For mailing, it's kind of going to make it a little bit off balance, but I just think it looks really nice that it's got a little extra added dimension there. And I did the same thing with the flowers. The two flowers in this frame are one level higher because I doubled up on the foam adhesive. But these are going to go directly in the center of our background, and I'm glad I didn't add any color because I just think that black and white looks really pretty. Okay, after we have this done, I'm going to go ahead and add my frame to my orange background, and then I did add foam adhesive behind my sentiments. I'm going to put hello friend, I miss you on the orange, right here on the bottom. I think we're going to go directly horizontal with this because we have those wavy lines. And then on my other card, I'm using a sentiment that I cut apart. It says, "You are always in my heart." Okay, bells and whistles. We're going to bring in some Simon Says Stamp Moonstone sequins. I'm going to add a few just for a little extra sparkle here, and then that completes my card today, guys. Well, I said card, but I meant cards. I meant to make one card, but got a bonus today because I think those images are so pretty. But my card today is part of a blog hop, a 3-day blog hop that Simon Says Stamp is having, celebrating this brand new Rainbows release. So 3 days, today's day 2, guys, but if you missed day 1, I'll link that over on my blog. But I encourage you to join us. Lots of inspiration with the Rainbows release, and then also there is a giveaway too, so that's a little bonus. Inspiration and bonus is always equals a crafty weekend. Thanks so much for stopping by. Have a lovely day, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.